please subscribe, like, and share our channel. I know there's been other videos on YouTube about the subject, but this is my take on why people choose an expat lifestyle, an adventuring lifestyle, to get out and experience other places, other people, other cultures. The reasons are as diverse as the people themselves, but I think there's several traits that all of us have in common. Thanks for joining me on this adventure. Today we're going to do a little bit of talking about why I became an expat and what it's like for others to become expats. You know, right now there's over 8 million expats from the United States alone. Many in Mexico, Central America, South America, Europe, Southeast Asia. The reasons are probably almost as varied as the personalities of the people who choose to live this lifestyle. Myself, I do it for adventure. It makes me feel younger. It gives me a much more stress-free lifestyle. I can live in the countries that I choose to go to on much less money than what I could afford to live here in the United States. And my quality of life is much better. I'm learning different cultures. I'm getting exercise, I'm getting out. Let's face it, when someone like myself of my generation reaches a certain age, we're no longer considered to be a valuable commodity in the United States. Right or wrong, that's just the reality. Our usefulness, our working years are past us. Our friends are leaving us. And when I say leaving us, I don't mean walking away from us. I mean they're passing away. We're getting older. And I don't want to sit in a house on a couch watching television, waiting for my obituary. I want all my friends and family to be happy for me, to say, oh, I'm glad you're out there and I'm glad you're enjoying life and I'm glad you're doing what makes you happy, what makes you feel alive. You know, years ago when I was growing up, the only way that you could even dream of experiencing the type of things that I experience as an expat were in the movies. We didn't have internet, we didn't have Instagram, we didn't have Facebook. We had movies, and when we were young, every weekend, all of the young kids would go to the movies to experience something that they could only see in the movies. They could never dream that it might be a reality in their life. And becoming an expat in today's modern times allows individuals to do just that. We can go out and do the treasure hunts. We can go on adventures, and it's exciting and it's fun. Probably the next thing in the ingredients is it's a challenge. We don't leave the United States because we don't love our country. We do love our country. We may not always agree with what our country is doing and what it's becoming, but it's always our country. I think the majority of the expats fall into several categories. Retired people have a limited income, a fixed income, and here in the United States it just becomes harder and harder and harder to have a good quality of life on what we make. Depending on how successful you were in your working years and how well and prudent you were in your investments and planning for the future, many people still rely heavily on Social Security as their retirement. And to live on Social Security in the United States is almost impossible. It's not impossible in other countries. You can easily live on your Social Security retirement in several countries and have a better quality of life than you could possibly achieve here in the United States. COVID really changed the world in many, many aspects. And one of them, it showed people that it's possible to make a living working remotely. It's possible to find good employment from major corporations, and those jobs allow you to make a living from anywhere in the world. So the younger people are now sitting in Hong Kong or Singapore, South America, Central America, Mexico, Caribbean islands, doing their jobs, enjoying a lifestyle that they could only dream of. Although COVID was a horrible thing for the world, it did teach us quite a few lessons, and one of which was to broaden our horizons. And younger generations, nomads, digital creators. Younger people are becoming digital nomads. They're becoming remote workers. They're becoming international remote workers. They're enjoying lives. Many families are moving from the United States because of cost of living and expanding their children's horizons, learning new languages. But the original work ethic that I had growing up, which was basically you get up in the morning and you go to work and you work for someone else for 8, 10, 12 hours a day, 5 days a week, live for the weekends, and hopefully you saved enough to be able to retire. Those days are gone. Some people still live that type of lifestyle. Many of them still live that type of lifestyle by choice. Younger people are choosing more and more to experience the world while they're working. There's a host of opportunities for younger people nowadays as family members, being able to homeschool their children, being able to work remotely. So it's actually a very good thing. I know a lot of my family and a lot of my friends are questioning what's happened to Tom. What in the world is going on? Why is he just so set on living somewhere else? Well, it's because it's an adventure. Many other countries make me feel so welcome and valued. I feel very unvalued in this country anymore. And that's not to say that that is the reality, but it certainly is the perception. When you retire and you get away from work, people look at you a little bit differently. When you get my age and you're a single person, women look at you much differently. In other countries, that's not the case. In other countries, they see a valued individual, someone who has worked very hard, someone who appreciated and respected. That appreciation and respect is hard to find in the United States anymore. So that's one more reason that people of my generation have decided to go somewhere else. One of the other things that I've found as a benefit is you become less attached to material things. When you move overseas, you leave a lot of the things that you thought you needed behind. You can't take a lot of your worldly possessions with. And lastly, I think just the relaxation, completely different stress level than you have here in this country. When you get out and you experience new cultures, new things, less cost of living, less worrying about your daily expenses, how much you're paying for a meal. You get away from the fast foods, you eat healthier, you get more exercise. There's a lot more people that are out walking to their local store, walking to their favorite coffee shop. It's just a completely different lifestyle and change of pace that is very good for your health, very good for your well-being, both physically and mentally. So if this is something that you guys might be thinking about doing, you can use me as an example. I've become a nomad. I've become an expat. I really don't like the word expat because it implies that I'm an expatriate, and I am still a patriot of the United States. I would much prefer to be considered an adventurer. The explorers of the years gone by, get on a ship and go see what's over that next horizon. That's part of the fun of it for me. When I go to a new country, I want to get out. I want to go see the waterfalls. I want to see where's that trail go to, or where's that path lead to, or what's the view from up on top of that mountain. So again, if you're thinking of maybe having a change of pace, maybe having a change of lifestyle, maybe having a little less stress in your life, having a little bit easier life with the amount of money that you're bringing in, I would highly suggest that you Google up some expat forums, see what people are talking about. Go on YouTube, see what the expats in different areas that you might be interested in. Me, I'm interested in Panama and Central America, and I'm also interested very much in Southeast Asia. So those are the places that I Google, and those are the places that I watch other YouTubers talking about and making videos about, and I'm learning from them, just as some of you will be learning from me. I've kind of been an adventurer and explorer all my life. Even when my kids were young, I explored the United States. We went everywhere. We went to all the different states, all the national parks, all the state parks. Anytime we could get away, we did. And I think it was a good way to raise the children. I think it kept my sanity level much better than what it would have been had I not had that release. And this is just an extension of that. So family and friends, if you're wondering why Tom's out there traveling the world, that's why. It's a great lifestyle. Soon I'm going to be back in the Philippines, and it's going to be Har and I on the channel, and many of you who's been asking questions or wanting to know more about Har are going to learn quite a bit about Har, as well as myself adventuring in a new country. And I wish you all the best. And if you have not subscribed, please consider subscribing. Thanks for watching. Stay safe, my friends.